We are live. The Jedi Rebel Show, I think episode 21. The show that gives you skill, knowledge, and wisdom, how to upgrade your mindset and emotional health and live a better quality of life. But as we're tuning in, let me know who is tuning in. Give me some love, give me some likes. Size us in the background, making sure everyone's got the link. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you are tuning in, if you're ever watching this back on replay, it helps us out if you hashtag replay. We let us know who's tuning in live, who's tuning not in live. Courtney in the house. How are you? What is new? Believe it or not, good evening. Alison, Liz, beautiful. Julie. Katrina, Tracy, Phoebe, is that how you say that? Phoebe, Joe, in the house. It's all happening. So yeah, while I started doing his thing and the link's going up, Debbie in the house, here he is. Funny enough, a little story, this was a race against time. I've been with a Jedi all day, walking the hills of Malvern with Milo. We are absolutely burnt out, a little bit tired, but we're still coming here with high energy, right? So I've just made it. I had about half an hour to spare, and then I'm on the phone to my mate talking about an NLP stuff that he's going through. And I'm hearing the sat-nav woman like, turn. I thought I was on the right road, and I've gone like 20 minutes the wrong way. Anyway, I'm here now. I'm so proud.
We got Liz from Hull. We got Lindsay, Tracy, Sarah. Nice to see you. Phoebe. Phoebe's one of the 30-day crew, Ben. Phoebe's in the house. She's one of the 30-dayers. Rosa's in. She's an Academy crew. Alison's in. She's just been listening to me. Sheena's an Academia. Debbie's an Academia. Joe Corbett's like an unbreakable. She's been around for a long time. Katrina's in. Julie's in. Loads of people. If you tune in, guys, hit the like button. Say hello. We're going to dive in because these are only about 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. As Ben said, me and Ben have been hiking the hills today together. Ben traveled down to see me, talk about some cool stuff we're going to do. And this topic come up, which was about, it was about the loving kindness thing, wasn't it? That the government have come out and said, hey.
Well, I see me asked and I was like, the issue around the problem that is suggested about people struggling right now. And no disrespect, I think a random act of kindness is important, but it's such a minutia to helping the situation that we're in right now, right? But being subtle about it. So, kindness is something that is a virtue that we need to practice like anything else. And my argue is that, it should be a default pattern of behavior. And, kindness doesn't just affect the person, it also affects you. Then it was the other side that people who are struggling, it's fine to be kind right now, not to anybody else, but to themselves. It's kind of kicking the teeth, right? So we was to and froing about that. Anyway, it's going to get a little bit interesting on this. And then, excited today because we're actually going to get some of these guys to do something rather than just go away and do jack, wait for the next week. We thought some of these guys could get involved in that could excel a little bit of kindness in the world. And I'm sure we can all agree right now that's what's needed.
Yeah, who's noticed that the world seems more stressed? Like, I know I have. I was saying the other day, people seem a lot more stressed, don't they? A lot more snappy, a lot more just in public. Like, everyone seems a bit more like a chip on the shoulder. Like, that sounds bad, but it's that attitude of like, there's a lot more attitude kicking about, and people are a bit more highly strung, driving in the streets and that. Even in the nice, lovely streets of Malvern. Online, my inbox, I get way more shit now than I ever used to. Like, seriously, way more people reacting to stuff, and I don't say anything particularly offensive, Beautiful. Everyone's a bit more, I don't know, a bit more like on it. Everyone's a bit more stressed. Does anyone else notice that? I can be a bit, we can all be snappy and stressed, can't we? Fucking hell, do you know what I mean? Does everyone notice that? Have you noticed that, Ben?
Well, in Manchester, I think that's just like the casual norm, right? But yeah, of course, we know why that's happening. But yeah, definitely people have doing the opposite of, and you know, a random act of kindness. It's more of a random act of give you shit.
Yeah, random act of emotional terrorism.
Yeah, emotional warfare. And you know, the other thing with the online stuff is people just venting really how they feel. And I was thinking about this driving down to Malvern, that there's no consequence to just talking shit anymore, is there? You know, people are going to talk it, and whether it hurts somebody or not. And 9 out of 10 people talk that to make themselves feel better. We know that's a bullying mentality. And just touching on what we were talking about over the hills, it's like become a common thing and acceptable that being that way is acceptable, and a victim mentality and my handicap's bigger than yours because I've been through more shit, and because I feel like this I can treat people like shit, because I treat people like shit, everything's shit. And I don't know how that's become acceptable in society. I don't even know how that state or aura or whatever you want to call it is acceptable. But when you talk about stuff being positive and kindness and love and acceptance and joy and success, it's like also it's all always this day and age deemed like unpositive, negative. You know, me being high beat around people who are not high beat, it's like I'm the odd one out, and I just can't get my head around that. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that because I know we spoke about that today.
So we're going to put a challenge together, which is unusual. Who here would love have a better operating brain? Who watching this right now? Just seriously, we'll go, you know what? I'd love to feel clearer. I'd love to feel calmer. I'd love to feel more purposeful. I'd just love to feel like I had a better energy, like a nicer energy around me. I've talked a lot about now energy. Who would love more of that? Like, because if you do, we got a little mini challenge for you lockdown crew. We were chatting today and I said, why don't we give them a little challenge? Something we do in our free 7-day challenge. We're going to do it now. Secondly, who's got Ben as a coach in academy? Ben coaches in our academy. Is anyone on here who's got Ben as their direct coach? I'm interested. I'm interested. Go on, put that in there. But if you're gonna watch, come on, let's jump in. Let's do something. Let's get involved on this and do something today. Yeah. If you haven't liked the video, please like the video. Please share the. You know, don't have to share it, but like the video. So there's this superpower for the brain, right? There's a superpower for the brain and there's a superpower for the body.
And it's not alcohol.
Maybe it is. The superpower for the brain, one of the biggest superpowers is compassion, right? Now, before you go, hear me out on this. One of the best superpowers for the brain is compassion. The other second superpower begins with C, coherence, right? When it comes to having a high-performing mind, if you're studying someone who's like really excelling, like a top of their game, it's compassion and coherence are there. The other thing is, if you're studying someone who's really struggling, no coherence, no levels of compassion. I'll talk to you about this in a second. And people say, I'm very compassionate and I'm struggling. Usually what's up, Michael Demise? Usually our compassion doesn't extend to ourselves. It only extends to other people. And if that's the famous quote, if your compassion doesn't include you, it's incomplete, right? So the biggest superpower for me is compassion and coherence. Now, what's the proof behind it? When they study like 40 years meditators, so there's this thing called 40 years of Zen, Dave Asprey, and they try and create 40 years of Zen in a week using biohacking techniques, right? All this different stuff. So they studied the brain of like fucking, the Dalai Lama's kind of level people, right? And they were like, God, look at these person's brain. You know, the Rachel's got you. The level of like what they call brain coherence and stuff like that makes your brain feel good and calm and purposeful is through the fucking charts compared to like me or you, for example. Imagine that compared to somebody who's just wandering around life. Like their brain was so high performing. They're like, what are these people doing? Their brain is on fire, literally, with like fucking brilliant. And they find that all of their practices were around compassion, around coherence. And it was elevating these certain brain waves called alpha and gamma. Like that's like your brain's operating frequency. It's like they elevated all those healthy levels in your brain. And people were like fucking like they were buzzing off it. And the thing is, that gives off a huge state of calm. When you're in that state of compassion and coherence, which we teach you, we're going to give you something to do, you give off a real aura of calm. And I'm telling you this, the famous saying, calm is contagious. If you're around a calm person, you're always, man, it makes you feel more at ease, right? If you're around a stressed person, it kind of speeds you up. Oh my God, you know? And so compassion doesn't hurt. So it's not compassion you're feeling there. So like, and right now, the best thing we could all do is probably fucking engage our own energy a little bit and actually, rather than spreading this contagious stress and fucking fear and panic and anger, because it's all contagious, bring an energy of calm. And the superpower to calm is compassion and a coherent state, because it's the energy behind things that make a difference. And I realize I'm talking a lot here. I'll let Ben talk in a minute, but it is the energy behind things. It's like saying, oh, you've got to do nice things. But if the energy behind the nice thing is, oh, I'm doing this nice thing because fucking I've got to be nice to everyone, that's not the same as actually bringing a good energy to that. We've all been given something begrudgingly. Yeah. And we've all given begrudgingly. It hasn't got the same, isn't the same transaction as somebody who gives from a good place. True giving makes, it's a bad term, this, it gets a bit sexual, but true giving makes the giver and the receiver feel good.
Yeah.
If you feel bad giving something, then you feel like you're losing. And that's not truly giving. That can't be. If you're giving something and you feel bad for it, you feel you're losing something, you're not giving. That's the kind of random acts of kindness that are bullshit and don't matter.
Yeah, they don't matter at all.
It's the energy behind it that matters.
It really is. When you say energy, we're talking about how it makes you feel as well, right?
Yeah.
And that's it, you know, when you can give and receive in that transaction. Another key point of something we train on in the Unbreakable Academy is that, you know, a lot of people struggle receiving. It really is a skill like any other virtue that needs training, like to receive. And when we're talking about compassion, remember everything that we're talking about, kindness, compassion, love, all this other stuff, it starts with yourself first. It's not, I'm going to be kind to everybody, of treat myself like shit. So I'm going to love everybody and care about everybody, but don't care about myself. You see, this is a common denominator in society, so external. Everything, all these emotions that we so mostly want. I'll be happy when, I'll be kinder when, I'll start living when my life gets better. How about it starts now? And we can all be a little bit kinder to ourselves. We can all give ourselves a little bit of love. Anybody who's here today, who jumps on this live, you want to give yourself a little bit of kindness and compassion and love for even turning up and try to better yourself. Because many people have just thought, yeah, I'd rather just go and talk shit and watch EastEnders tonight. There's nothing wrong with that. But my point being is, if you're always trying to better yourself, give yourself a break. You know, give yourself some credit for the stuff you've already done, receiving at the highest level. And the crazy thing is, only you can feel that, right? Only you can acknowledge that. And here's the thing, no one needs to accept that for you, or no one needs to acknowledge that for you. Imagine if it was the way around right now. You know, how would the world look? You know, I have plenty of times where I look at my kids and I will just feel the love in my heart. I feel it, you know, that's a skill like anything else needs training. But when, you know, they will feel it on an energetic level, but I'm feeling that. How do you think that impacts me? How do you think that impacts the relationship? Because words are very cheap these days. How many people say, I love you to your kids, but there's no intention behind it. There's no purpose in the words that people say. As the saying goes, talk is cheap, right? And I believe that, but only to the people that, you know, are cheap talkers. Because, you know, we turn up here every day. Like, what do we want to talk about? Well, how can we impact the people that turn up today? People are giving their time and energy, which for us is priceless. How can we give and receive? So we turn up on these lives and do our thing. We go away feeling great as well. We've done our thing. We've impacted away. I said before, we do this show because we have a skill set and knowledge, wisdom that people can, you know, apply, upgrade a mindset, upgrade a life, and live, you know, a greater quality of life.
There's loads of comments on here because being bad at receiving, and that is honestly, we do a week on that in the 30-day program. A week.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Solid week.
Giving and receiving works in this flow. Everything in life is like on a flow of giving and receiving all the time. And if you're very good at giving but not very good at receiving, you're going to struggle. So most of us in this are very good at doing things and giving, because we kind of, if we feel unhappy, we generally want to give happiness to everyone, you know, or we feel sad, or make everyone happy, or we haven't got much. But we're also very bad at receiving round. And receiving is a skill, 100%. Receiving is a skill, having the ability to, you know, to allow stuff in, to allow it in. And it's not just compliments and things like that. It's receiving all the good stuff around you, because our awareness is always caught up in what we don't have, right? We live in a very lack-orientated society now. It's like, oh, the lack, it's everything's a lack. We've never got enough of anything. But you never have enough of anything when all you keep looking at is what you don't have, do you? So receiving is a fucking skill. We're not going to talk about it tonight, but it's a very good, it's a skill to practice.
Well, I think the awareness on it is great to talk about, right? You know, like, you'd be like, damn, because here's the other thing, if you're not receiving that, what are you receiving? Overwhelm, anxiety, procrastination, low self-esteem, low confidence. You're always receiving at some degree. So, you know, we need to create a firewall for what type of shit we want to be receiving.
Yeah, 100%. And also, let's talk about this random act of kindness real quick. I think we've all been part of things where, like, send somebody a message and tell me you appreciate them, or, you know, do these acts of giving, you know, these acts of like, oh, you know, I really appreciate you, I think a lot of you. And you're like, yeah, there's nothing behind that. There's nothing behind it. It's just words. It's just empty to me. It's just empty. And like, tell me what you like. It's just empty. It's just become cool to say shit like that. So, man, that's just cool. Stop saying it, because you don't mean it. You don't mean it because you don't actually behave that way. So it's just become a cool thing to do almost. Yeah, you got to put good out in the world. I put some good out, but it's where it comes from. That's the important thing. You could tell someone you think they're amazing as much as you like, but if you treat them like shit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always the energy behind the giving that is truly makes it what it is, isn't it? So that being said, a superpower for the mind is compassion, and it's coherence. What's coherence? Coherence is, coming from your heart. Someone's put it in there. Coherence is when you create this wonderful rhythmic heart state that spreads through your body, legitimate thing. Your brain becomes more coherent. And when you're calm, when you're happy, when you're joyful, when you're excited, when you're enthusiastic, when you feel good, you're in a coherent state. Your body's coherent. You're not releasing loads of shitty stress chemicals all the time. When you feel bad, you're what's called incoherent. You're not in that state, right? And we want to create coherent energy all the time. You want to walk in and have an impact on someone. It's, you know, that's what they say. The best gift you can give anyone's your own happiness, your own well-being. Who's behind you, mate? Who's crawling in there?
I think Amara's just come out of nowhere and got an apple. Bless her.
Yeah. You know, that is...
Come on, nowhere, grab the apple.
When we're around people who feel good, we generally feel a bit better, don't we? If we look at the people we care about, you know, if they feel good, it makes us feel good, because we're interacting on that level then of good energy, so to speak. So I'm not into this like, you want a good energy, you've got to like exercise hard as you can, raise your energy. I'm like, yeah, that's important, but fucking emotional, coherent heart energy, that's the magic. That's when you're around someone, you're like, man, I love being around you. You just got an open heart. How can you live with an open heart? You know, that's not about being nice and being all, I'm nice. It's about living with an open heart. It's about being compassionate. Isn't always nice, is it? Most people confuse compassion with being nice. Sometimes compassion.
Well, a level of understanding as well, right? Compassion is a level of understanding, yeah.
So we want to create coherence, right? If you can give from coherence, you can give from an open heart, you are going to feel good for doing it, and the person who gets it feels good. Now, if two people do that tomorrow, and they impact, those two people go and impact the people they're around, and they walk into work with a smile on their face, into school, maybe they have a nice connection, and that person's like, nice connection, boom, boom, boom. That ripple effect, that's magic. So imagine if there's like 40 odd people on here, 50 people, 60 people. Imagine if the 60 people live, the 40 people live, woke up tomorrow, created an open heart, some coherent energy, and then fired some kind of voice or video message to somebody they absolutely love and told them not some bullshit, here's what I appreciate about you, but maybe said, you know, here's what I love about you, da 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 da. And that person read that and was like, man, and it come from a good place, open heart. Yeah, Joe knows, open heart, open mind. And then that person went and impacted. We could create a little bubble tomorrow of calm. So if we woke up, who's up for doing that? Who's up for learning how to breathe effectively so you get a calmer state? And then from there, send out something good, put out some feel-good vibes, impact someone's day, impact yours. And then who's up for doing that tomorrow? Come on, 40 or 50 of us. We'll even send you the breathing audio.
Yeah.
We'll send you the breathing audio.
I remember, you know, seeing Rosa's comment there, whether the other person didn't even get back to you, it's irrelevant. The outcome's the outcome. You've done your intention. You know, it doesn't matter how good they feel after it. You've done what you was intentionally wanting to do, right? And it starts here.
Yeah, loads of people in. And some people, oh, that sounds a bit mush cookie, it sounds a bit fucking woo-woo. That person doesn't understand the science of how the body works, the energy, how that works. They don't understand that. They're coming at it from a completely different point of view. Like, if you study a football team or an NFL team or any high-performing team that gets into a flow state, flow is like when you are in the zone, when you are not chattering away in your brain, when your performance excels. That's a flow state. A bit more detail, but that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, yeah.
When they're in the flow state, they're also in a coherent state. They measure their hearts, their brain waves. That means they're coherent. They're in a lovely rhythm. And everyone in the team pretty much will be on that rhythm. Yeah. It's the most high-performing thing for your brain and body to be in a flow state. And that is a coherent state. And that's why people feel so shitty right now, because we're all incoherent, wandering around, fed up, disconnected, pissed off. What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, we can all moan about it. Let's be a force of good. Let's wake up. Okay, guys, those of you who want the audio, you may have downloaded this before. We set this up this afternoon when we were fucking about. I think if you want the audio to tell you how to open your heart, breathing, which is crucial, you need to do this. Type in the comments #upgrade. It's free. You know, it's not fucking. It's not, you know, I'm not charging you for it, but we can't send it.
We're giving. We're giving.
If you want it, just type #upgrade. Seriously. And what it will do is it will ping you the audio straight into your messenger. And you'll be able to listen to this breathing audio. It's crucial. It's crucial. Excuse me. The second part of it is once you've listened to the breathing audio. Once you've listened to the breathing audio, send that message to that person. You've got to send the message. Tell them. Video or voice. Don't write the text. It's voice or video only. Upgrade.
Yeah, just what you're saying there, Sai. With the #upgrade, if they've got a space, will it still trigger?
No.
No, you need to put the hashtag and upgrade together. Don't have no space. Cool.
The third thing is this. Can you maintain that throughout the day, that state?
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's the challenging part.
Once you've done it, can you go about your day and have a smile? Yeah. Can you smile at people as much as you want? Without boring you, your face is really linked to your feelings.
Yeah.
Have I shared this with you, Ben, about the Botox?
Oh, man. What? Nah, go on.
They did a study where they took a load of depressed people, proper, not depressed, but actually depressed. And they put Botox in their forehead to stop them frowning. Because when they stopped frowning, they stopped feeling so unhappy.
Oh,
proper
shit.
Clinical study. The only other trouble is they couldn't also make facial expressions, so they stopped being able to
smile.
Yeah, they stopped being able to show empathy and stuff. They could smile, but they couldn't show empathy. So it's a bit of a thing, but this shows how often are we walking around not smiling, and you can still smile behind a mask. You can tell when someone's smiling at you. Like the girl who served us for lunch today, she was lovely. She smiled loads, didn't she? She had a mask on. But she was. It's in the eyes you see the smile.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, someone's put that. See it in your eyes. Yeah. Snap.
See it in your eyes.
So smiling. How often can we smile? How often can we try and show a bit of compassion?
How can you be tomorrow what you most value in the world?
Yeah.
You kind of should be all day, hello, smiling. You know, he's not a person that I say this all the time, but, you know, I was doing it today, me and he's not a person what passed us today that we didn't say good morning to, whether or not they said good morning or back. You know, there was people watching, thank you for crossing the road, indicators that it just goes a long way, because we're always having them stress responses. You need to do the complete opposite, and this is how we improve emotional and mental health. And just to finish up what Simon was saying before about, you know, people, it sounds a bit too easy, or it's a bit mush cookie. Well, cool, because, you know, ignorance can close minds, can cost you millions. But the fact is, if you go to a gym, you need certain techniques and certain weights and certain techniques to build your physical muscle, and that's exactly what this is for the heart and for the mind. So it's all right doing it once, but the results come from the consistency. So tomorrow, the hardest part of the day will be trying to maintain all that, and just cue yourself when you feel like you're getting dragged into something, or your awareness is being pulled away. Cue yourself, take a breath, come back in, appreciate with kindness, have that compassion for it, fold it up, and go again. And you'll have a great day tomorrow.
It'd be better. Put it that way.
Yeah.
It'd be better. That's the key. So I'm up for this. I'm going to make a post on this page tomorrow. I'm going to do a video in the morning and be like, who's opened their heart this morning? Who's sent a decent message? Who's put something out? Who's put something out there? Because coherence is king. Calm is king. Calm is king. If you can maintain a decent, uplifted, elevated state, everything performs better. Like, trust me, the brain. We do this. Me and Ben measure our brain waves, you know, in a more basic way, not like, but still advanced. And we're always talking about getting our alpha levels up. How can we raise our alpha levels? How can we improve the alpha in our brain, which is a brainwave, like flow brainwave, etc., etc. Really, if you've got high alpha levels, you're going to be happier, more creative. Opening the heart. Whenever you practice opening the heart, whenever you practice opening up from there, alpha, you know what I mean? It's you can feel a shift in you, and your brain responds. It's the high performance brainwave. And anyone who's struggling is low in alpha all the time.
That's for another time. People are like, what's that? We left you with one like a to be continued. Leave it there.
That being said, me and Ben are out of here, guys. We were saying this today. We've got another 7-day challenge coming up soon. Free 7-day challenge. Like, keep your eyes out for that. It's for new people. So if you've never done one before, it's for you, pretty much. I think we're welcoming as many new people into it as we can. It's a couple of weeks away now, Ben.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. And like I said, the challenge is like these little things, these little snippets, the heart breathing. It's a week full of training, practical skills that you take away, and, you know, advance your alphas, advance the way you're feeling. And when that's in check, you know, you're limitless. So again, what we're talking about today is we're trying to get to a capacity where we can have more on. And that's alphas right now. So there's a maximum of 200 people. It's first come, first serve. I believe if you put #7 in, it will automatically send you that and put you on a waiting list, which is cool, right? And then you know, you double bubble and you're progressing in where you need to be. So #upgrade, get your heart breathing, get the audio. It's dead easy. Simon does it, mate. You just feel good. Listen to it. Get coherent. Set the intention in your heart. Send that message to someone. Don't hold back. And then, you know, try and be consistent through the day. Your day will be better, like Si said. #7 to get yourself on that list. And we'll see you this time next week. And before we go, there's someone today that needs to hear that message. So give, share, get it to the people that you love the most. Get it out there, because the more people we speak to, the more people we can help, the more kinder the world is. The universe wins, we win. That's a great deal.
Yeah. For you guys that are recommending your friends, just send them on the link. If you recommend a friend, do it as well. Do it as well as your friend. People who do it together get better results. So yeah, come on in. But the 7 days, the free 7 days, I know we got to go, but it is our way of like man, there's a huge amount of change goes on in 7 days. It's a blast. There's a lot of light bulbs go off in that 7 days. There's no point doing it if you did it a couple of weeks ago, I doubt, to be honest. We'll see. Hit it up and request access. Request access. Until then, go steady. Ben, it's been a blast.
See you soon, y'all.